Well, it was another learning experience for a young ball club this weekend. The positive about it was we got to play in some really cold weather, some nasty stuff. We were playing in below 35 degrees, which is our benchmark for the MVC. So we were playing in weather below that on Friday. And I always tell our kids, tough kids win on those days. And, we played really well in game one, swung the bats really well. We struggled a little bit pitching wise. But we were scoring enough runs in that game to cover some of those weaknesses up. In game two, we were playing Central Arkansas, who is a very good team. Offensively, they really swing the bats well. And Jamie Fisher was throwing an unbelievable game. It was a tight ball game, just like every other game she's been throwing this year. And one pitch, they hit a 3-run homer, and we're down 3-0 in the fourth inning. And the way our team's kind of responded up to this point when the other team scores first has been something that we're trying to work on. And our team battled back and responded and tied the game up in the seventh inning. Go into extra innings in the eighth, and we had a fielding error that cost us the game. One of those really tough, hard-fought games. We did something that we hadn't been doing, which is come back in a game and put ourselves in a position to win a game. We just didn't close it out. So, Friday was an overall good day, aside from the loss, because we took something out of that game. I felt like we probably had the toughest turnaround of any team in the tournament, because that Friday night game was scheduled to be a 7:30 game. It didn't start until 9:30. We didn't get back to the hotel till about midnight, and then we had to turn around and play the 9 a.m. game in the morning against Ball State, who was done by 1 o'clock. On Saturday, so they were well rested. We had a decision to make on who we were going to pitch, and on less than 12 hours rest, Jamie Fisher goes out there again against Ball State and really competed her tail off for us. And offensively, we just weren't very good against Ball State. And then in our second game, we played Central Arkansas again, and there's where the pitching question mark in our head was. And we probably had the worst inning that I've ever been a part of with UNI baseball and softball in the first inning. Top of the first, we walked 4 in a row, walked in a run, had 3 errors, walked in a few more. We just couldn't shut it off fast enough, and they ended up scoring 13 runs on us in the first inning, and we had 8 walks and 5 errors. I don't care who you're playing. Or how good you are, you can't overcome something like that. Our kids didn't quit though. I credited them after the game for not quitting, because that's something that you can see even in our results, wins and losses, that we play really well, and then once we start to get down in that valley, we don't pull ourselves back up very fast, and that's just a sign of a young team. We talk about not too high, not too low, stay even keel. When you get down to that valley, get back up fast, those type of things. And you can just see in our results that we get there, and then something bad happens, some adversity, we have to deal with it, and we just sit in that valley too long. And that's, like I said, just youth and kids trying to do too much themselves and trying to go make the game happen rather than letting it come to them. And it's something that we're going to continue to work on here in the next couple weeks, and it's a process, but we've got the kids that can do it. We're just dealing with that failure aspect, and our sport is a failure sport. You're going to fail 7 out of 10 times, and you're going to be really good. So they're just dealing with that right now, and I think hopefully we can get it back on track next weekend. We head to Fayetteville, Arkansas for the University of Arkansas Woo Pig Classic, and we play Jacksonville State, Wright State, and Arkansas. It's a round-robin tournament, and then they'll seed it, and you play a seeded 2-game bracket play after that. So haven't done a whole lot of scouting on either of those teams as of yet, just kind of following some box scores and things like that. Arkansas is usually bottom half of the SEC, which is pretty darn good. But we know we're going to face some good pitching out of Arkansas. Wright State, I don't know much about yet, and Jacksonville State's been traditionally pretty tough teams. So same type of competition I think that we faced this past weekend that we'll face this weekend, and hopefully we can turn ourselves around and focus on some of the little things that we need to do, get some confidence back, and sharpen some things up, and hopefully stay a little bit more consistent as we go forward. So anybody have any questions?
Coach, are you concerned at all with your number one pitcher, Jamie Fisher? You're throwing her against usually the toughest competition, number one Alabama, Arizona State, Illinois, Minnesota. She's 2-7. Are you concerned at all that mentally she might struggle some when you get into conference play just because has struggled against some of that competition or not?
Yeah, with her, with the type of person she is and the type of competitor she is, I don't think she's really she didn't even know she was 20-5 last year, so I don't think she knows she's 2-7 right now. So I don't think that's going to affect her. I think it'll only make her better. You could kind of see it yesterday where she's been going up against some really gritty lineups, and we haven't given her any support whatsoever offensively to give her any confidence or even some breathing room to kind of, relax a little bit. Every pitch has been, the utmost pressure on her. But you could see it yesterday when we went against Arkansas Pine Bluff. The hitters up and down the lineup weren't as tough as she's been going against, and you could kind of see her get some of that confidence back, and I think that'll happen a little bit more as we get into the league. And honestly, I'm not so sure it might not happen this weekend because, I think our team knows what they're up against Arkansas, and she can pitch against those kind of lineups, and we sneak one of those games out, and all of a sudden the confidence level goes off the charts, and that's what we're trying to figure out and get ourselves to. And but I don't think Jamie's affected at all. We've talked about it, because I've been worried about that myself. But no, she's got a great head on her shoulders, and I just worry about her more putting pressure on herself to help everybody else out, because that's the kind of person she is. She gets really empathetic with everyone else. When she's going well, she tends to empathize with the people who aren't doing a great job, and tries to do more to help them out.
Coach, we got, looks like 3 players below the Mendoza line, and we got 3 more girls between 200 and 220. These are obviously good softball players when we recruited them and brought them in. Is it the pitching, or are they just overwhelmed? What do you attribute it to?
Well, we don't really talk about our batting average very often. I look at it every once in a while when our SID throws me the stat sheet, but and I noticed our team was hitting below the Mendoza line, but I didn't dwell on it because we really talk about quality at bats. We don't talk about how many hits you get, because honestly, we could be doing everything wrong and we could be hitting 400.
Sure.
So I feel like we're doing things right. We're just not. The ball's just not falling for us. I mean, when we square up a ball and hit a line drive, and we did it probably 5 or 6 times against Central Arkansas in that tight ball game, I mean, we out-hit them. But, that doesn't win you games. So I don't really necessarily look at that as a big issue. They're still great hitters. They know they are. We just keep talking about quality at-bats. Those hard line drives, those 7-pitch at-bats where we're working that pitcher deep in the count. We're moving runners. We're hitting the ground ball when we need to advance somebody. Those type of things are what we're really focusing on, rather than the batting average. The batting average to us just really doesn't tell the full story of what kind of a hitter you are, because I tell them all the time, you can do everything right and go 0 for 4, and you can do everything wrong and go 4 for 4. So that doesn't tell you how good you are.
The start of the Valley Conference is just around the corner. What are you seeing from other league teams and their non-conference stuff? Do you get a feel for how tough the league's going to be?
It's hard to tell. I think Southern Illinois and us are doing the same type of thing. We're playing some really tough competition, and you look at their stats and our stats, and we're pretty even. I think that's kind of the teams that we're playing. Illinois State, they're up more in the middle of the pack in their, offensive and pitching categories, and they're playing the same type of teams. We got to see them play a little bit down in Arizona, and they're having kind of the same type of struggles as us, but I think they're a little bit older, and some of those kids can handle those different situations and things like that. I think you can see the differences there. Some of the other teams in the league, you see Bradley's up there offensively. Drake is up there pitching, which they're always in the top 3 pitching wise, but offensively they're up there as well. And I really honestly don't think you're going to know anything until about the second or third week of the Valley season to really see where the Valley teams are, just because of who's playing who now and everything like that. Things will definitely, I think, switch here in the next couple of weeks, because you know, number one, Southern Illinois isn't gonna finish in the bottom 3 offensively, and you know, I'm not gonna guarantee anything, but I don't think we're gonna finish there either. So, anyone else? Thank you.